City run, which is going to be epic. Now, Ebro, you would ask me earlier who are some of the people participating. Starting tomorrow night, for the next 4 nights, I will be there with the Roots. Join the Roots, of course.
Yeah.
Nice. Will be special guest Lil Wayne.
Wow.
Ice Cube, Common. The young Vince Staples.
Vince. Love Vince.
Big Boy from Outkast and many more. And then the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be there with Chris Rock. Following week, August 9th, the lovely Miss Erykah Badu joins us. And then on August 15th, we have a very special guest.
Oh, wow.
This guest is so special.
Wait, has this been announced yet?
Oh, announced. I believe it might even be sold out. And nobody even knows who the special guest is. And the guest is so special that I can't even say who it is.
Oh, man. I was going to give you a drum roll in there.
I had the flex bomb.
Yeah, it's a flex bomb.
It's a special, it's very special guest.
Well, it's a very special guest. It's a very special occasion. What do you think we'll bring out? You know, dear ladies and gentlemen, Chubby Checker. I'm kidding. It's going to be great.
Now, Dave, a question. This many shows, Radio City, unprecedented for a comedian, yes? Nobody's ever done this.
Someone has. I shouldn't say. I believe Bill Cosby is the record for you. That's... I mean, Rosenberg, you were really quick with that one. Boy, yeah. Yeah, but actually I think that at the end of this run we will exceed that attendance record.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And is it extra special that it's Radio City? There's a certain aura of Radio City.
That venue does mean a lot to me. You know, like the first time that I did a show that was larger than a comedy club was at Radio City. I was 19. I was opening for Aretha Franklin. And then I didn't come back to Radio City until whatever that run we did 3 years ago. 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
3 years ago. Yeah, it's a special place, man. It is.
It's a lot of people don't realize just how long your run in comedy was. I had interviewed David Allen Greer a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about you guys being on the same shows when you were like 16 years old, 15 years old, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Caroline.
I'm like, because I was so much younger than my peer group, you know, I've been around for a long time, but, you know, I go through this thing where I feel like I'm older than I am because my peer group is like a decade ahead of me.
Well, to say, David Allen Greer, for example, you've known him for 30 years, whatever, he's 58 or something like that.
Yeah. It's like that.
Damn, you just threw 58 on? You sure he's 58?
He was shockingly old. When he told me, I was like, whoa, he's maybe 60.
Shock. That's not shock. Eddie Murphy was watching television and like Sanford and Sons. And he goes, I am as old now as Red Fox was on the first season of Sanford. I was like, oh my God. He goes, I am as old now as Carol O'Connor was on the first season of All in the Family. Yeah, but Eddie looked like Eddie. You still look the same.
He really does.
Yeah, we eat better, or like even 44.
More money.
Yeah.
There's definitely more money.
Yeah.
Definitely more money, oxygen chambers, nutritionists.
No, he's right though. He's right. You know, people of affluence don't age the same way as the people. You know what I mean?
But I would say, Dave, you don't strike me as necessarily a nutritionist kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely not. But I live well.
You do live very well.
Yeah, and I have effectively minimized my stress. I exercise. And all these factors I think will contribute to my quality of life. Maybe not the length of my life, but who knows? I get hit by a bus, catch some kind of wild cold or Zika or something. I don't know what's going on. So I just don't worry about it. I just chill and do shows that I dream about. It's like a fantasy show. I'm like living the dream.
Well, you know that our good friend, Cypher Sounds, often tells me about you. His favorite thing about being around you is that you live the ultimate life in that you do exactly what you want to do on the timeline you want to do it.
But it sure looks that way.
It really does. You go to all the fights. You love fights, right? So you always go to all the fights. Will you be at McGregor or Mayweather?
Okay, that fight I might not actually attend.
Because you're worried it could like devolve into like a Bo Galata riot or something?
No, because it has all the suspense of a Globetrotter game.
Wait, so are you watching it all?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna watch.
All All right, wait. Let's start with Saturday. You guys were both in the building in Brooklyn, yeah?
Yes.
Dave, you went. Laura, you went.
Yes.
Laura, how did you feel about the fight?
Well, I told you guys, see, we had just had the interview with Adrian Broner here, so I felt a little different about him. Like, I felt sorry for him. And everybody looks at me like I'm crazy because I felt sorry for him. Why? Because I felt like when we brought up the mental health issues and then, you know, the way he was just reacting. And
You guys brought up mental health issues?
Oh, we had to. We had to.
He threatened to commit suicide. He put a gun on the gram and was bugging out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I just kind of felt like we were talking about how so many people depend on him, and I feel like everybody's using him, and I don't know. I had this character in my head, okay?
You guys went that deep on morning radio?
When?
All the time.
I thought people were driving their kids to school.
Listen.
They gotta learn, man. They gotta learn.
When I was at the fight, I was feeling different. I didn't know that the whole entire Barclays Center hated him. Nobody was rooting for him, and he lost the entire fight.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody was rooting.
It was
for him.
quiet in there, at least on my side.
It was quiet because, you know, the fight wasn't that eventful for a casual boxing fan. A real boxing fan is going to at least get caught up in the suspense of can these guys accomplish the things they're trying to accomplish within the parameters of the given round. But a casual boxing fan doesn't understand, like, why are they punching each other?
At one point, Garcia was like, hit me, boom, 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 boom.
I did not hear him talking in there. Did you hear
I read his lips.
Now see Mike in here talking. Yeah, see you. Rocky dialogue.
Wait, so you're not interested? You're not particularly interested or excited by Mayweather McGregor?
No, I didn't say that. I mean, it's exciting, but it's just like I'm not gonna go with. I mean, listen, man. Listen, Floyd Mayweather's probably training as we speak.
Yes.
And as he's training, do you know what Conor McGregor's doing? Learning how to box. Right. He can fight a guy that was born with boxing gloves, 10-ounce gloves. So it's just like I just don't see how McGregor can do it.
And in your situation, when you go to a fight, you sit in the most expensive seats in the house. And are they always comped when you get those seats? You sometimes have to pay, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So you have to weigh, if you're going to buy the most expensive ticket, is it worth it to drop $70,000 to go watch this fiasco?
Now, I will say about the McGregor-Mayweather fight that it's such a spectacle that in and of itself is worth seeing. That I feel like no matter what happens, Conor McGregor is a very big winner. He talked himself into a lot of money. It's his first fight, and he gets to fight the very best. And I just feel like that's what the fight's gonna look like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you? We got a little bit weirded out when the racial overtones have gotten a little.
You said it off the air earlier, but I'll say it. Boxing's racist and been racist a long time. I'm going with Floyd Mayweather just because he's black, not because I like him as a person. And I know he's a better fighter.
You know, I honestly, man, the racial overtone, I mean, for what I do, my ears are a lot less sensitive than most people's. And in my heart of hearts, I believe that these guys are great fighters. You know, McGregor's from a different genre of fighting, but it's not like I don't respect what he does. I just don't think he's as good at boxing. Right. So a lot of people will say Floyd Mayweather should act a certain way because of his stature or his celebrity. And I propose that perhaps his excellence is his message. Because he's really, really good at boxing. Like in that circle square, he might be one of the most confident people on earth. When he's doing what he actually does, he's great. And life is complicated. Everyone messes up in life, but can't everyone box that good? And so I enjoy Floyd Mayweather. And I enjoy Conor McGregor. And I don't get bent out of shape about things he says because I know he's getting ready to fight a guy that I'm sure he has to feel deep in his heart is going to whoop his ass. And it's a lot of money to take that ass whooping. I would let Floyd Mayweather beat me up for that kind of money. If he's going to take a fight with me, I'd do it.
That would be...
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll.
It would be slightly less competitive than what you're going to see on this place.
Coming to Netflix next, a Dave Chappelle special. Chappelle versus Mayweather. 1.
I wouldn't even get my ass whooped out.
What, you take the... Go down?
Yeah, as soon as I open the bell one, I just jump on the floor, count to 10, and walk to the Life goes on, man. I kind of leave it.
Well, speaking of Netflix, were you happy with the way your specials were received?
That's a good question. You know what? To be honest, yeah, sure. I mean, one thing about putting anything out is you can't control how it's going to be received. And I think people were by and large very fair and thoughtful about how it was received.
Are you working on another one?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Look out, there's another one coming soon.
Are these Netflix people around us as we speak?
No, but they are everywhere.
I made her a part of my family. Now the kids ask me if they can say TT, and I say no. They ask why, and I don't know how to respond to that. Now, I will say, based on the English in this woman's email, I have a lot of other concerns because it is a poorly written email. I translated that to make it much better. But this is a weird situation, missing a lot of information, Shawnee Culture. Why would a husband not want his new wife to be friends with her female best friend? We've gotten these emails about male best friends, never about the female best friend.
And we'll never know the truth because the one writing it is the problem.
Right. Well, so he sees it.
You know what I'm saying?
Dave, anything confused?
Yeah, anything stick out to you here?
Yeah, well, again, Rosenberg, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of redacted information.
Paper has a lot of redacted.
I'm gonna have to say that maybe the husband's intuition is sad because she never said he was wrong. She just said it made her feel bad.
Right. So the question is she the party?
And her friend pulled the shoe per her husband's request.
Right.
If you got a really good buddy, and your wife says, I don't want you hanging out with that buddy, you're going to say, baby, this is my dude before you buy. You're going to fight a little bit, but yet for some reason this girl pulled the shoe. So we don't know what's going on, man. But you should consider perhaps your danger to their relationship.
Now, so the second part of the question, though, she says, what should she tell her children who are saying, why can't we see TT?
To mind their business. My kids.
So says the guru Dave Chappelle.
Let's go, Lord Styles, back up. How you feel about that intro song, Dave?
Like it? Nice, right? Yeah.
I was feeling that intro.
It's a happy, like,
Alright, so listen, I'm going to bring up this story because I feel like we can relate to it, alright? So Lil Boosie, right? Lil Boosie, he, was claiming that somebody stole from him, like, over $360,000 from his bank account. Turns out, it's his own brother. So at first he was like, it came out that people were stealing from him, so it happens to be his brother. So his brother was like super scammer, like getting other people to like get these fake wires. Listen, I don't even know how he pulled this off, but he did. So then I started thinking about crazy family members and how they get away with things. And, I know my aunt used to steal from us all the time. Like she was an aunt that used to come over to the house and all of a sudden it's like a vase was missing. But like, and next thing you know, she would just borrow it.
She was doing drugs?
I don't know. She was just in that case.
Don't talk about Tia like that.
Can we relate?
She might have been on crack.
Do you have a family member? Rosenberg, I'm pretty much sure that you have.
How old is Lil Boosie?
Boosie has to be like what?
35.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, man. Look, man, I don't know. I think if you're a person that's successful like that kid, it's a very difficult thing for the people around you. They see the treasure room, they don't have to do any of the hard work, and maybe, maybe they stuck his ladle in too many times.
Dave, you ever had anybody steal from you?
Oh, well, hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, been in the show business 30 years, of course.
What's like the wildest request somebody called you? Hey, can I borrow $1 million? Like, what's the wildest thing somebody asked you? Like, I don't even really know you. I met you a couple times.
I mean, yeah, people ask you for money all the time, or like, a guy came up to me on the street the other day and asked if his friend could open for me. Which means, hey, buddy, don't really work that way. But, yeah, people ask you for stuff all the time, but that's just, some people can see you, and then some people just see like opportunities or like a walking bag of money. But you gotta get over that. Yeah, everybody goes through that. I'm sorry for Boosie, but $350,000 is not worth a familial tie. I'm sure he'll work.
That's your place in relationship. By the time it's 55.
$350,000 is worth a lot.
That was wait. $350,000 is on what?
Well, I'm talking about relative to the money he probably makes in his business.
He's giving a lot of respect to Boosie's business.
Well, I don't know what these guys make. I don't know.
So somebody took $350 grand from you, Dave. That's your family.
I would survive that. I would totally survive that.
You would understand. It would be like, look, I love you. I don't like it, but
You know, I had a friend of mine that he used to tell me when I was a kid. He goes, "Hey man, don't trust your fat friends with your sandwiches." It doesn't mean you can't trust somebody across the board. He might be good with other things, but them sandwiches. You have to recalibrate your relationship to figure out what be strong, when they're weak, and then you function properly. But you don't throw everything out for one deficiency. If a person got 99 good qualities and one quality that I despise, I ain't throwing out the 99. I try.
That's very positive. I respect that.
I'm like that.
Yeah, I think you are like that.
There's people I
But
still
$350,000 would be tough for you.
If one of your cousins stole $350,000,
Finished, Dari. I'm
you're
pressing
like, it's
charges.
okay.
You going to jail.